Send your wives to Target. Send your kids outside.
It's grad time. Here we go. Episode 14.
Damn.
It's flying by. We're having a good time. Keeping things rolling. The hardest part, though, is coming up with an episode every week.
It is. You know, it seems like there's so much that we want to talk about through the week.
Yeah.
And then it comes time to film, and it's like, what do we want to do?
Yeah, because
You know?
what was trending Monday may not be trending the following Monday or Wednesday. Then we find something on Saturday. We're like, oh, should we add that in and get rid of something else?
It's really hard to figure out what's going to be trending when you're only filming once a week.
It is, and I'm ready to quit my day job and do this every day.
Let's go.
Hey, you call quits tomorrow, and we're just gonna move on. So
It will be a memorable Memorial
yeah,
Day.
Memorial Day weekend's here. Obviously, we grilled out for a light grill out after got off work, did some hamburgers and stuff, and we did something last night too, didn't we? Oh, yesterday we had a birthday party.
Yeah, had a birthday party, went to the Dirty Bird.
Yes, Dirty Bird down in Carthage. Always got to go there.
Yep.
So we tried out the burger of the week, which they do, and it's always kind of cool.
Was it like a loaded potato?
Loaded potato burger, yes. And, I thought it was going to be really, like, carb-loaded and full and stuffy.
Yeah.
That really wasn't the case.
It wasn't. I was worried about the potatoes. So this burger had, like, fried potatoes, green onions, bacon, and cheddar cheese sauce, right?
Yes.
And
Diablo sauce, I think they called it.
Something like that, yeah. And I thought that the potatoes were going to be an issue, but they were cooked so that they were soft.
No,
it was awesome.
Yeah, and I think the way the sauce is blended together is what pulled the whole burger together.
Yeah, for
I think
sure.
so. No.
I don't think it would have been the same with just a slice of cheese, so that was cool.
Yeah, no.
Your kid had a great birthday party.
Yeah, he did. Yep. A lot of toys I don't think we needed. Yeah.
That happens, And also moving into Memorial Day weekend, we each had our first travel game last week. We each came away with a win.
But we did.
That was awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good way to start the season for the kids.
Very excited. Yeah. And speaking of travel ball, we're heading down to Jacksonville next weekend for a St. Jude tournament. And always big into St. Jude, but it's even better when you get to play baseball and represent them. It's a donation and all that kind of stuff. So looking forward to that. Be super exciting.
That is pretty cool.
It'll be on turf field. A lot of kids haven't played on that yet, so it's gonna be a challenge. But
yeah, that's probably a little rough to get used to, but kind of exciting for them too.
But I took my youngest kid to his first movie this morning, and I have a lot of complaints about movies nowadays.
Did you go take him to see Final Destination? Or
No. Yeah, I should have.
You should have, yeah.
But no, we went and seen Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, okay.
And it was okay, but why are they so dark?
Why are they so
like the movies? Like they
the
turn all the
humor?
lights off in there.
Oh, yeah.
And you can't see shit.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking around for the pack of candy we have, I can't even see it.
Can't see anything.
That's so dark, And then the 22 freaking minutes of previews.
A lot of previews.
Why? To me, it's like, okay, so I was there 15 minutes early, so we'd be there at the start for the 10:30.
Mm-hmm.
The movie didn't start till 10:52. So now I just sent a 3, almost 4-year-old down for 22 minutes trying to get. So now we just lost 20 minutes of the movie.
Right. You don't know if he's even going to sit through the movie,
yeah.
Let alone add on that extra half hour.
That's what I'm saying. So.
And by the time the movie starts, your popcorn's gone. He's chugged his drink. He's got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. So and then you miss out on the movie because you're back and forth and all that stuff. So, but to kick off your weekend, you got to go to the zoo.
Yeah, I went on a field trip the other day. That was pretty cool. Went to the Peoria Zoo, and some of it was still closed, which was kind of disappointing. I think it was.
Is it weather related?
I don't know. They didn't really say. They just said that they didn't open it until after Memorial Day. And they didn't really give any rhyme or reason to it, so that was kind of disappointing. But the kids had a blast. I mean, we were there a little bit of time. They saw everything. They had a new baby giraffe. That was kind of cool.
Oh, okay.
Apparently their male lion died at some point in time. I didn't know that, so the lion cage was kind of empty. My wife saw a couple of monkeys doing what monkeys do, kind of going at it. So luckily the kids didn't get to see that, but...
Jack, what is that?
What did they do? Get off of her! Yeah, so that was
They're fighting.
But I don't think it was overly expensive. I would like to. Every time that I go to the Peoria Zoo or like Niabi or something like that, I always think, man, we should take the kids to the St. Louis Zoo.
Well, we should. Yeah.
It's awesome.
And actually, the wife has been talking about it. Going to a ball game in St. Louis in August, and that's a Saturday, and they're talking about Sunday hitting up the St. Louis Zoo.
Yeah, I mean it's free. You just pay parking. And
Oh, really?
Yeah. The St. Louis Zoo's free. You just have to pay. Now the parking's like $20, but
Oh, well, I mean,
you just have to
that's
pay
cheaper than $15 a person to go to the zoo.
right.
So-
right. Especially if you can shove everybody into one vehicle, park somewhere else. Bring one
Yeah,
vehicle in.
like,
Yeah.
I walked.
We just all start piling out.
So, no, but I'm sure, I think that'll end up happening there. I'd be game for that. I've heard it's a really good one. So, a lot of people I know have been there.
Yeah, I think it's one of the better ones I've been to. We've been to the Fort Worth Zoo several years ago when our dad still lived in Fort Worth, and that was like a day-long journey. Like
Really?
that zoo is huge
Okay.
and awesome. I mean, the kids really liked it. The kids got really tired. They were much
Oh,
younger,
yeah.
but unbelievable what type of zoo they had down there.
Right.
So that was kind of cool.
Well, that was exciting stuff we've done this week. But let's get on to unsolicited advice. You sent me this one this morning, and I kind of had something to think about. If you were drinking a beer with your younger self, what would you say? What advice would you give your younger self?
So,
And I guess for me, I want to know, like, let's talk about. So we both had kids fairly young.
right,
So what age did you have, Bentley?
like 24.
24.
Yeah.
And mine was 20. So let's go to that time frame.
That's what I was thinking. Like, go back to a certain time frame because it changes, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah, exactly,
what
yeah.
I'm going to tell myself at 18 is not what I'm going to tell myself at 24.
Oh,
right?
100%.
I
So-
probably wouldn't even have a beer with myself at 18. Like, I wouldn't like me. So,
How many people are like 18-year-olds and now they're arrogant and full of spunk and ready to fight everything, you know?
yeah,
So,
I was a dumbass.
um,
But
You know, and I thought about this on all day, and obviously the common thing is, wrap it kind of thing.
Yeah.
Don't have a kid. But honestly, it's, stop and smell the roses kind of thing.
yeah,
Enjoy the little moments. Don't fret the small stuff.
I think like it's kind of similar. If I could go back and just be like, look, especially when it comes to parenting, you're getting ready to have a kid. You have no fucking clue what's coming, right? Like your whole world's going to change.
You can
need
read
to-
any book you want. And,
Yeah. You need to grow up. But like, I wish looking back, I had really taken the time because I'm a person that works probably too much. And especially back then,
Yeah, Right.
and I wish I had taken the time to really enjoy that first year of her life,
Right.
because it goes fast.
It does.
and you miss a lot.
I mean, the kid we're talking about, they're going to be teenagers this year.
Yeah. And I was, for me, I was split household, right? So I didn't even see her all the time anyway
Right.
because her mom and I were split up. So it's like you already miss all that. And then when, you're working so much and you're
Right.
putting your focus elsewhere, you just miss that much more. And
You do.
Um,
And then you almost feel guilty because you get the every other weekend thing, and a buddy gets married on the weekend. You're like, well, I can't take her
yeah.
or him. I find a babysitter. I got to, and you just feel guilty because I just gave up one of the weekends.
Right.
It's like that. Episode 10 or whatever it was we talked about. But you only see your kid for so long as a child, and then
Yeah.
they're an adult.
You only get so many weekends, so many summers.
Yes, exactly. And I think that's where kind of hitting home on that is, I'll be 33 here in a couple of weeks, and I'm starting to understand the order side of things and just slowing down and not wishing everything away.
Yeah, I think I'd tell myself, just relax.
Yeah.
Like, I know you're trying to make a lot of stuff happen. You got big goals, but slow down.
Right.
Slow down because that time's coming.
Right.
Like, you're going to have the time you have a house. You're going to have the time you have a family. You're going to have the time that you're successful in your job. Like, just slow down, man.
Right. And that's really what it is slow down. Like, time moves fast enough. You don't need to speed it up.
Yeah.
So, kind of a little heavy on the heart there, but it needs to happen. I like those. So let's throw a little twist into this. Let's throw late 20s. What would you tell yourself in late 20s?
Late 20s,
That when you started school?
roughly. Yeah. So late 20s, probably tell myself, I think I tell myself a lot, especially, same thing, being a dad, like, dude, figure something else out. Like, that was the time that I was traveling. I was working far away from home. I was working multiple jobs, working overtime. And it's like, there's always time to make money, trying to get everything you want all at once when it comes to finances. Maybe it's time, again, slow down, reset your priorities, look at what's important.
Right, yes.
It's important to provide for your family, but probably could have been a little bit more present, probably focus a little more on what matters.
Right.
You know, I'd love to give myself some of the things that I've learned and I'm still learning as a parent. I'd love to go back then and tell me what I know now.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
You know, I would have, you know, done everything I could to tell myself, don't stop going to the gym. Like, you're in great shape. Your health matters. Like, dude, it's downhill from here. I probably would have tried to get that across.
Yeah.
Because, like, you say 29, 30. So, like, full disclosure, I was like 192. I was like, you know, bench pressing, deadlifting more than I ever had in my life. I was in good shape. I was running a couple times a week. My 30th birthday, I ran my first 5K, and that's not the case now. Like, that's just not.
And you're going to be, what, 37 this year?
Oh, you got to ask me that. Fun fact while I'm thinking, I don't really know my age. I constantly forget it, so 36.
You're going to be 30, okay.
Yeah, I had to think about the math there for a second.
You know, you said something that we hear all the time is your time will come back, or your money will come back, but your time won't.
Right.
No, and that's big when you have kids and trying to set goals, but still be family oriented, all that stuff. And honestly, it's true.
It is.
You kind of have to.
You
You can make your money back, you know.
Right.
I know people that they've gone bankrupt in 40s and 50s, and they're still able to retire. You know, and we're so far away from that. You know, like.
And that was kind of my thought. Like, obviously, you know, again, you got to provide, you got to have a shelter, you got to have stuff for your kids. But, you know, would you rather work your ass off and be financially stable while your kids are young and then your time's gone? Or would you rather have the more time with them and get your shit together when they're grown? And I mean, there's pros and cons to both.
There's both. There really is.
But you can't get that time back.
You know, I guess my thought is, you know, having a kid at 20, it was enjoy my kid. Because like at 20 years old, you're not making a lot of money that can change your life that much, you know. And then, and it's funny we're talking about this. So my boss was talking about working Memorial Day weekend, and I was like, there's no amount of money you could offer me to do it. He's like, what do you mean? I said, it'd have to be life-changing money for me to give up my weekends now to work.
Yeah.
And like double time, you know, I'll make $700-800 on a Saturday if that was the case. It's not worth it.
Right.
And he's like, what? I'm like, well, it's good money, don't get me wrong, but I'm so far in debt. I got so much coming out every month.
Yeah.
It doesn't dig me out.
And that's, you know, you talked about 20. If I could go back then, I didn't have a kid yet. If I could go back like 18, 19, 20, and I would actually listen to myself, I would probably tell them, put some money back.
Yeah.
Like, build a savings. You don't have shit for bills. You're making even minimum wage when you don't have bills. Like, set that money back.
The day my kid turns 18, he will be getting a Roth IRA.
Yeah.
And I will set him on a budget to invest in that thing day one.
Yeah.
Like,
set yourself up for the future.
Yes. You know, and there's a lot of people, oh, but you may not make it that far. But whatever. Like, you can't live your life that way. Or you'll be broke come retirement.
Right.
You know, so. But no, I think that kind of all intertwines together. You know, doing the right thing for your kid, being present, being financially responsible. You know, honestly, at 20, if you can, you buy a house.
Yeah, I mean, back then, looking at it now, it would have made a lot of sense.
Yeah, you know, like, and even if you can do it now and you buy that little cheap fixer-upper for $25,000-$30,000 in this area, and you spend 4 or 5 years dumping money into it and fixing it up while you're single, that's the way to go. Because now, when you get married and you're ready to move into a house with your family, you keep that property as income. You keep that property for equity. You get into your next house, and you're so far ahead compared to most people.
When you were, say, 19, 20, let's say before you had a kid.
Right.
Okay, so it's you, world's ahead of you, you're on your own. Did you picture yourself living in Illinois?
No.
Me neither.
Nope. Actually, in high school, I was all about, oh, I'm going to get a football scholarship. I'm getting the fuck out of here. You know.
Yeah.
Obviously, did not happen. I was probably not as good as I thought I was.
Yeah.
But
I wanted to go to school. I was going to apply to be a doctor down in Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
There you go.
And my backup plan, if that didn't work out, was I was going to join the military and get the fuck out of Illinois and let them pay for me to be a doctor.
Right.
And none of those things happened.
No, my biggest thing was I didn't want to be here. Hated the 4 seasons in a week kind of thing that we have all the time. And I started going out to the beach that we go to when I was like 2 or 3. And it's in North Carolina. It kind of, I feel like it's more homey.
Right.
I go out there and, you can live in the middle of the state and you can go to the mountain to the beach within an hour or 2 drive.
Right.
And it's like, man, that's the best of both worlds,
And
I'd go hiking on a mountain and see some rain and stuff. I'd go to a beach and, whatever you want, really.
And you don't have to spend the money to do it.
Exactly. Like,
so that's
you can go to the beach and walk it for free and hang out all day.
right.
We don't have that around here.
No.
You want to hang out all day for free, you got to find somewhere with a pool.
Right.
And even then, it's like a burden,
Right.
Well,
it's like a part-time job taking care of a pool.
Exactly, So, yeah. Let's keep it on moving to the next thing. Plan ahead and buy beer.
I didn't.
So, and honestly, I didn't think I did either, and I ended up having enough left. But it's always one of those things like you're trying to have a get together. Ah, shit! I gotta make a beer run. And most people don't mind it, The gang get together, they get in a truck, beer run. First thing they do when they get together. Which I wouldn't care if I think there was more than just us, but you gotta turn it. Oh, there it is. Come on, Dr. Pepper, we're waiting.
Every episode.
Let's go. I'll get a Dr. Pepper hoodie. We'll put it right here.
Get a neck tattoo.
Neck tat. I'm not doing that.
I'll be a pepper.
So, but no, planning ahead just really wasn't just about the buying beer, but it's everything, Like,
Right. Well, because holiday hours, things change.
Right.
And it used to be, I don't know if it's this way everywhere. This may be like everybody knows this, but where we grew up, for a long time, you couldn't buy any beer or alcohol on Sunday.
Right.
So even more so, like, you got to plan ahead. And, so kind of interesting, and I don't want to stray too far from our agenda or whatever, but if you have a garage beer fridge, like a garage fridge for beer.
Yeah.
So, within reason, of course, is that kind of like fair game? Like somebody comes over, and let's say somebody comes over and they open up your fridge in your garage and they grab a beer.
Okay, so I see both.
Right.
If you're coming over, you're having 1 or 2, sure.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm having a cookout and there's 30 people, no.
And if it's reciprocated.
Right.
Right. Like it's not this for that, but like if they're coming over all the time and they're getting a beer and then you go over there and they're like, I don't have one or whatever.
Well, see, and I think that's why we do it so well, because when I come over, I just drink your beer. When you come over, you just drink my beer. And half the time we ask each other, hey, I'm buying beer. Is there anything you want? And we keep it in the fridge.
Or like I think we've both even done at some point in time where we'll buy beer and then just leave it in the other
Just leave it there,
fridge.
yes,
Like, here,
yeah.
donation, making up for something,
Yep.
Well,
because like you said, it's reciprocated. So I come over here for the Super Bowl, brought mine, not this year, but 2 years ago. Brought it, left it. I knew I'll be back eventually.
Yeah.
So kind of thing. Or, okay, I brought 1 year now. Hey, next time when I go to Devon, I'm bringing some. Like, I don't mind that. We got somebody that take advantage of it, and you know what? I don't really want to fret about it.
Right.
Like, I want you to come hang out with me, but maybe then we need to start stocking up on PBR or something that's cheap.
I mean,
we get natty lights, buddy.
Right. We've seen a few times, mutually, places we've been together where like somebody will take advantage and they'll polish off your case.
Right.
We on vacation one year we had somebody that did it.
Yeah, we did have that.
We had I think a cookout one time that somebody polished off a thing of whiskey that was in my fridge. Like, come on,
That's
man.
different.
Like
beer is one thing, whiskey, because that's like that's expensive shit.
And I think it's another thing where like you wanted to have like a glass or a little bit of something. That's one thing, but pull the bottle out and they're tipping it.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
When they start sipping the bottle, it's gone.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. We're obviously not that fancy, but don't get the top shelf. Don't get top shelf.
Right.
I think it's a respect thing. Like, I've been to other garages. They have a tin cup that sits in the fridge. If you get a beer, you put $1.50 in it.
Yeah, I could see that too.
You know, and that doesn't pay for the whole beer, but it helps pay for it.
Right.
And I thought about doing something like that, like, hey, you know, yeah, grab one, just throw something in there. At the end of the night, drop me $5, whatever, you know. Because I would like to keep my more stock for the get-togethers we have.
Right.
But then, like, my wife buys a giant cake and takes up the whole freaking fridge. So, you can't do it.
Well, and you said as far as high end goes, I've got a bottle of bourbon in my house right now, and it's, I don't know, like a 200.
Oh, I think I tried that last
bottle
year.
of whiskey,
Yeah.
something like that. And somebody bought it for me when I started nurse practitioner school, and I have opened it twice. I think I did on my daughter's graduation, and then I think we did
When you graduated.
around the time I graduated.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's still sitting up there because I feel guilty. Like there's got to be something special to take this down.
Right.
You know, so
Then how long have you had it now?
3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. I mean, you got a good point, but at what point do you just start drinking it?
when we go to North Carolina,
I mean, hey, how about that? All right, keep on going over to this. So I saw this at your game.
Mhm.
Actually, I have my assistant coaches. Coaching the bases and dealing with the sliding mids. I hate it. Pisses me off. Most of the kids don't slide correctly, it even matter.
yeah,
It doesn't, like,
I get the idea. You're trying to protect the fingers. We've all jammed a finger sliding into a base,
Right.
but I think as a parent, travel sports are fucking expensive anyway.
Right.
And now I got to buy a $60, $70 mitt that looks like ice cream.
Yeah.
But beyond that, like you said, if you're not, I don't know how many times, and it happened in my game the other night, which I knew you were going to bring up. Dude gets a hit, rushes down the line to first base, and then leaves the base and goes, "Where'd my sliding mitt go?" Get on your fucking base,
Yeah.
dude. Like if you want to tuck it in the back of your pants and it's fit to where you can put it on quickly, fine.
Yeah.
But at the moment that you're not watching third base, you're not seeing your signs, you're not paying attention to the game, you leave the base to go find it, we're done.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So I had a couple kids on my team. You know, you're 10U, I'm 12U. Pulling off the batting gloves.
Yeah.
Okay, watch out with the coach. There's a pitch got thrown. You didn't get your signal. You get your weekend lead off. You didn't get your lead off. You didn't get a secondary jump. You didn't see where the ball went. You probably just hit into a double play.
Yeah.
No, like, and my thing is, if you're not sliding correctly, you don't need it.
Right.
Let's slide correctly first. You know?
And I just think it's a distraction,
Oh, it is.
you know.
It 100% is. And I hate to be this whole, oh, I grew up, I never needed one, blah, blah, blah. But I did. You know, like,
And
I played all through high school. All the summer leagues I played, I don't know how many games. Played Legion ball. Like, I never had one of them damn things.
right.
You know, and I was a leadoff hitter who stole bases.
The more equipment that you have, it just gets bulky.
Oh, it does. Yeah.
And it gets to be a pain in the ass. And, you know, like you said, by the time you remove your batting gloves, you're putting on your sliding mitt, a pitch is already going by. Maybe it was a passed ball, maybe it was wild, like, and you're just standing there putting your mitt on.
Right. So you don't like dealing with it either.
I don't. If they can be quick about it, like let's say it's tucked into your waistband when you're in the batting circle, so you know where it's at.
But
You come up, get your hit, you go to first base, maybe you get a double, you go to second base, and you slide it on over your batting glove. You know, you're ready to go. You don't miss anything. You're focused. Fine.
but
But like I said, when it becomes too much of a focus, and I'm not harping on the kid, but when it causes you to leave the base to look for it, like,
right.
dude, you're out. you
Yeah.
know, you just got out because you left the base looking for a sliding mitt.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
not
So
not a fan of that.
and I have two kids that wear the shin guards on their ankles. You're not gonna get hit by a pitch for foul balls. You don't hit the ball hard enough for that.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to be an asshole. You don't. Like,
and certain things.
and then
you
the
know,
elbow guards, like, if you roll the correct way with a pitch, you'll never catch it in the elbow.
Yeah, I should always catch you
Yeah,
back.
you know, like,
You know,
so, and then that's my thing. Like, why are we not teaching the basic fundamentals to where we don't need this equipment?
and some of the safety stuff makes sense. Like my kids, I encourage them to get the helmet with the guard here,
Oh,
as long as it
100%.
doesn't block their eyes. So you're not taking one off the face.
100%.
But otherwise, most of this stuff you don't need.
Right.
And honestly, sometimes, and I notice this more in like coach pitch, beginning travel ball, even batting gloves. And I understand like the reason for batting gloves. I get it. But if you're ready to come up to bat and you're struggling getting your fingers in the glove and you're struggling getting the glove on, like you're just slowing things down.
Right, exactly.
And your focus, you're no longer watching the pitcher, you're no longer getting the cadence, you're never getting his rhythm, you're just watching your glove.
Right.
You know.
That's the thing. So my kid got new gloves this year, and they're cool gloves. They're nice and fancy. They're picked them up, but you have to wrap them twice.
Oh,
So now, vroom, vroom, wrap, vroom. It's like,
yeah. And did you miss some pitches from somebody else at
Yeah.
that because you were?
so then he was on first in a game the other night. No, he was on second. He had a double. He was on second in a game the other night. I'm like, dude, you're stealing. Like, let's go. Come on.
Right.
You know? Well, I'm messing with my batting gloves. Yeah, leave them on. I don't
Yeah.
care. Like, we're in the
And
middle of a game. Like, if you cannot, like you said, if you cannot be quick about it, scrap it all.
And I even told my daughter because she was struggling a little bit with her batting glove, and I said, if you want to, after you bat, leave that left one on, and when you come back into the dugout, just put your glove right over it.
But, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not that weird. You're gonna get used to it pretty fast, and
Yeah.
then when you get back into the dugout, especially if you're coming up in the order, this glove comes off. You already got a batting glove on. You're
Right.
halfway there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, there's several ways you can go about it, but
Yeah, I don't like when they become a distraction. Like,
Yeah, no.
when they become the focus instead of what's going on in the game.
Right.
It's because those things. I mean, both of our games this past week were really not ever in any jeopardy.
no.
I had a little bit of a scary moment, but like in those close games and as they get older, those little moments that they're missing could be the difference in a game.
100%.
So
Yep. No, I totally agree. Travel Baru is going on. It's a different world out there now, and I guess adapting we need to do, but it's just
Yeah.
something that I just don't care to adapt to. Moving on into sports, Cubs scared
man.
us today, man. So I remember texting the group, who the hell is Reese McGuire?
right,
2 home runs today.
yeah.
I mean, the Cubs catchers are on fire.
They are, and you know what was funny is when the Cubs made the post that they made the roster change because Kelly had the late illness. Somebody, the very first commented on it, and they said this kid's hitting a home run in his first at bat, and he did. So it was like everybody came back to that post and they're like, "Dude, you called it," but I think he was just fucking around.
No, he was. He's
But
just
it-
100%. Like,
it
I don't
was-
know who this guy is, but this sounds like a good thing to say.
Right.
Yeah,
But it was close. I mean, the Reds. Honestly, we took the series.
we did.
All right, so we took the series against them. We took the series against Miami. We swept the Sox. So good week
Good
in
week.
Cubs baseball.
Yep.
But they made those games against the Reds scary. I mean, last night almost came back and won it.
Yeah.
The night before was pretty close for a while.
Yeah.
And then tonight was dangerous.
Yeah. I mean,
Almost.
I thought the game was over. I thought we lost.
I actually, when I write my notes on here, I actually wrote that we dropped the series to the Reds because it was the 7th inning and we were still down 2 runs, and I was like, it's just not happening.
Yeah.
Which-
And they came back. Who hit the go ahead?
Um,
Suzuki.
I think Suzuki hit the go-ahead.
Yeah. We sided up again in the 8th. Suzuki hit the go ahead in the 9th, and Danny Valencia or something came in, put a pretty solid bottom of the 9th. Throws hard. Not a big form of his release. I don't think he can control it. Obviously, he can't. He was all over the place, but was hitting 101, on the gun. So throws hard.
And Suzuki's leading the league in RBIs.
Yeah.
And second is
Who's second?
Rafael Devers tied with PCA.
PCA. Yep.
So crazy,
Yeah,
absolutely crazy.
And I'm beginning of the season, even late last year, I'm like, Suzuki, the one I wanted to trade.
Yeah,
I wanted to keep morale. I wanted to trade Suzuki, and still not huge on the guy, but man, he's producing.
I think the only thing I don't like about the guy is that when he gets cold, he gets cold.
Oh yeah, it's just like
Like as hot as he gets, he can turn it off and it lasts.
yeah,
But I mean, maybe that's adjusting to the game too. He's
Right.
still fairly new to it, but They're 32-21.
Yep.
You know, one of the best leagues in baseball. They're making ground on, separating themselves from the Cardinals. And this next week we play the Rockies and we play the Reds again.
Yeah.
So
We better sweep the Rockies.
I don't want to see us drop a game to the Rockies.
We shouldn't.
Like,
I mean, I would like to think we got to be getting Imanaga back at some point, and that's got to be huge.
Mhm.
Ben Brown's been struggling, so maybe he go to the bullpen and go back down to AAA for a bit. Keep Cade Horton up. He's doing okay, not doing great, but okay.
Yeah.
And then put Imanaga back in the rotation and see how that goes. I'd like to see Javier Assad come back and bullpen late rotation guy. But we're gonna need another starter to go the distance.
I think so, and I don't want to see, like, there's this big thing on Facebook right now about trading the farm for Skeens, and I don't want to see something like that. As much as I'd love to see him in Cubby Blue, I don't want to give up everything for him.
Well, all the trades I've seen involving Skeens have PCA, and I'm just 100% against that.
Right.
Like, I'm against PCA. I'm against Kevin Alcantara, Cade Horton, Ben Brown. I want to keep all the young guys. I am tired of seeing us trades for somebody, and then these guys go somewhere else and they're just absolute studs.
Right.
Like, I don't want to see it.
And
I think in a team that wasn't supposed to contend for a World Series this year, let's take what we can get. Let's get Steele healthy next season, and let's see who we can sign in the offseason.
Right, because I don't think for this season, I don't think that you need an ace. You don't need a Skeens. You need somebody that you can rely on.
Right.
Somebody that's going to have a quality start before the bullpen comes in. Maybe they'll take it into the seventh. Maybe you'll get 6 2/3 or something like that.
Yep.
And then you let the bats carry you through the game. Just somebody to plug into the rotation that's not going to kill you.
Right.
And that's what's hurting us is this last week, these games are close because Rhea's been shell-shocked. Ben Brown got lit up today. Yep. It's like we need quality starts.
We do. And, a quality start used to be able to go like 6 innings, no hits. I'll take 5.
I'll take 5. Yeah.
Five shutout, maybe a few walks, a couple strikes out, but 5. Like, give me that, because right now, getting that 6th inning is...
Oh, yeah, and
we're usually shelled in the fourth,
We can't have moments like we had yesterday where Reyes on the bump and he's throwing 108 pitches.
Oh, right, yeah.
Like, we've got to,
Yeah, I agree. Let's get on to a different meme I saw today. I think I sent it to you.
Yeah, you did.
Let's pull that up real quick. I like it just because it talks more about baseball. So here it is, guys. Game 7 of the World Series, bottom of the 9th, bases loaded, 2 outs, and your team is up by 1. Okay, so you're pitching. Albert Pujols is at the plate. You have your choice of any pitcher of any era who gets the call. My first pick right out of the gate, Jake Arrieta from 2016.
Yeah.
And
I think Arrieta, and I'm glad you specified, Arrieta 2016, there's few pitchers I've ever seen that I would trust as much as him in that season.
Yeah.
So, I was young when I saw him pitch, but of course I went with Maddox.
Oh, I mean...
It makes sense. It said any era, so I'm like,
Yeah, Greg Maddux, that's a solid choice. The dude's going to throw a breaking ball away probably and get Pujols to swing.
Right. And I tried to look at, like, who were the pitchers that Pujols did the worst about in his career. Surprisingly, Corey Kluber, Chris Sale were at the top of the list.
So 2 big lefties, right?
Right, yeah. So maybe you grab a lefty yourself.
So you throw in Randy Johnson.
Yeah.
A couple others I thought that deserves to mention. Kurt Schilling, Roger Clemens, Pedro Martinez. All those guys are great.
Right.
And then you can get farther and back into that. You got, Mariano Rivera.
And I thought about him too because what I thought was, it was interesting. We both immediately went to a starting pitcher.
Good point. I didn't realize that.
And I tried to think about it like it's 9th inning World Series. Who's a reliever? Who's a closer that I would trust? And man, I couldn't come up with it.
Aroldis Chapman.
I thought about that. I did think about that, but
the thing is like he had no control.
Right, exactly. So do you trust him in that moment? No.
We did.
Mike Montgomery.
Yeah.
But
John Lester.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So I don't know. It would be hard to be in that situation and like who's your guy.
Oh yeah, and we've named off a lot of greats, so I don't think you'd go wrong with any of them. Obviously, Pujols is a good hitter, probably one of the best. Was Mike Trout before Mike Trout for all you young guys out there.
Yeah.
But you can get back into the old days. Gibson or Satchel Paige,
Cy Young himself.
Cy Young. CC Sabathia.
Yeah.
It's hard to pick, but I think like, for us Cubs fans and even anybody in baseball in general, that 2016 season from Marietta was so special.
Oh, I think, in all honesty, I think that, and maybe I'm biased, I think that in recent baseball, so we'll say the last 10, 15 years, probably the best pitching season I've seen out of anybody.
Oh, man, that's crazy.
Start to
and you got to
finish.
think about it. You have Bumgarner in there who did great.
Right.
You have Clayton Kershaw who did it so many times. But I don't ever remember so many. I mean, he threw, 3 no-hitters in that year?
Yeah.
Like that.
Well, and the other thing is, for like younger people that maybe weren't watching then, because 2016 was several years ago now, the pitcher still batted in the NL, and he was adding runs with his bat. So
I actually got to watch one of my favorite games ever. We talked about this on the time, but I went to Wrigley. They played the Sox crosstown rivalry. There's a 1-0 game at the end. Arrieta hit the solo home run.
Yeah.
Bumgarner did that multiple times. And that like you said, that's the difference between the AL and the NL. Like when we got Lester. I mean, the dude had never had a career hit yet.
Right.
And he played like 20 years.
Yeah, sometimes it was an automatic out, and then sometimes, like Arrieta, you might just get something good out of that.
Or you get somebody who, I feel like there's a pitcher for Milwaukee forever that always just got a bloop single every time he batted.
Yeah.
It's just like, Jesus, how do you do this every single time, But, and it's funny you say that, like, if these pitchers were to come play ball against us, they'd smoke us.
Oh, they'd kill us, yeah.
They just focus so much on their pitching craft that they don't do much BP.
Right,
So,
exactly.
But let's keep it going. NFL, we are waiting for you.
I'm excited about this football season.
Yeah. Usually by now I'm ready for it, but Cubs are still playing hot, so
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited. Still on that train. Actually, told another buddy today, I said the wheels are going to fall off. It's just a matter of when.
Sooner or later, they'll get into their slump.
Yeah, I mean, they're banged up. They're not going to keep getting, Carson Kelly's out. This dude from the AAA is going to come up in one day and just smoke 2 home runs.
Well,
Like,
and they can't keep it up.
yeah, it's
They've won so many series, and they've lost, 3, 4, maybe 5.
Yeah, it's
and that might be if we're forgetting one. But, they can't carry this all season
Right.
long. And every team hits a slump, right? The good teams get back out of it.
But
And that's just what I hope for, is that we don't get into a slump, that we stay in.
I'm just hoping it's before All-Star break.
Mm-hmm.
We're 8 weeks, 10 weeks out of All-Star break, maybe?
Probably, yeah.
Well, it can't be that far. I mean, mid-July, so we're getting there. So, me personally, if we're getting into a slump, hopefully it comes now.
The other thing that I noticed the other day, the final series of the year is against the Cardinals,
Ooh,
which could be really cool.
that could be awesome.
That could be killer.
That could be awesome.
But yeah, NFL,
Yeah.
get excited about it.
Yeah, I am. Not a whole lot going on these days with anything. OTAs, rookie contracts will be getting going. And then, rookie mini camps will be coming up. So I'm pretty excited about all that. Trying to see, obviously, what's going on with Aaron Rodgers, see if that's going to go anywhere. And if any other team, they're going to shake something up. But we're kind of in the dead point right now. Just waiting for
Yeah.
the season. Schedule did get released, so we had that,
Did you see they changed the kickoff rule again?
to...
So before it was, correct me if I'm wrong, you could only do an onside if you declared it, and it could only be in the fourth quarter when you were losing, right? That was the most recent.
Is that what it was? I couldn't remember. So.
Well, now you can do it at any point during the game. You still have to be losing, and you still have to declare it,
Okay.
which I still fucking hate.
Yeah.
I think the idea of declaring an onside kick ruins the onside.
Oh yeah, because it's coming.
I mean, what are you gonna do
You can't
next?
strategize for it anymore.
Right.
I
I mean, 5 years from now, are we gonna be like declaring a play action?
hate.
You know,
My quarterback is going to throw.
tush push. Tush push.
right? Which they tried to ban, and it did not work. And I thought one of the funniest people that voted it down, Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
They're like, no, come on, run it against us.
What I saw that was funny is that every team that was okay with it doesn't play the Eagles this year.
That's even
So
better.
they're like, we don't care.
Doesn't affect me. I don't care what they do. Yeah,
I still think there's got to be a way to
you
stop
know.
it.
And my thing is you can't ban plays.
Right.
Like, you can't ban plays.
I think the part. So a lot of people are like, you can stop this, just load the middle. But here's the problem: you load the middle, Hurts is handing off to Saquon.
Right.
Hurts is doing a dump off to Devontae
Right.
Smith. Like, you can't stop it because if you stop the tush push, they're an explosive enough offense, quick shovel, and you're still in.
And you know, it sounds like, oh man, you're saying, oh, we should ban. That's why we need to ban it. No, Philadelphia for a long time did not have this kind of offense.
Right.
Now they have the weapons. Maybe the rest of the league should get on board. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Maybe we should try something like this. Pat Mahomes and whoever the heck they have in the backfield, or whatever wide receiver you want to run a sweep. Like, other teams can do this stuff.
And,
They just choose not to.
right. And what are you going to? You can't make it an even playing field. It's not supposed to be an even playing field.
No, that the whole thing of competition is supposed to be, hey, you train better than me and you whoop my ass. No,
Right.
I'm going to get you on the next one.
You can't change something or ban it just because it's successful. I mean,
Right.
you can't tell Tyreek Hill, hey, dude, you can only gain a 40-yard pass.
Right, yeah.
Like, you're so fast after 40 yards, dead play.
Right.
Like, you can't do that. You can't change Michael Vick. You can only scramble 3 times a game.
Right.
Like, you
Or
can't.
Derrick Henry, you can't truck a corner.
Saquon Barkley, you can't jump backwards over somebody. Like,
Right, yeah. No, that's to be legit. Like, you know, and he's going to do that, and this time he's getting a 360. Oh, I didn't jump backward. I started, but when I caught the person, I was forward this time.
Right.
You know, yeah, you can't, like, at what point do we quit acting like we're just losers and trying to cry about something?
do you think, and I don't want to dive into this too far so that we're super delayed or whatever, but what do you think about the NFL draft potentially being lotto?
Nope.
I agree. Actually, I
Nope.
was wondering what you were going to say, but
I also think, just because I have no way to prove it, but Chicago tanked on purpose. And I think that should be a fine, and you should lose a pick.
well,
Because now you're taking away from the integrity of the game as well.
yeah, I think that a lot of teams over the years. I mean, there was the Andrew Luck sweepstakes
Oh,
where
yeah,
players
yeah,
will
yeah.
tank, and they say they don't, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's obvious. And I don't. The lotto system. I like the way that the NFL is set up, where
Oh, yeah.
the team that did the worst is at the top of the draft.
There's
It
a
makes
reason
sense.
why you only see an NFL draft show.
Yeah.
I mean, the MLB and the NBA do their stuff. Nobody talks about it.
Well, and when they do, they say it's rigged.
Right.
Look at what happened with the NBA draft.
We talked about it 2 days after it happened. So many people tune into a live first round of the NFL draft because it's awesome.
Right.
Yeah, don't mess with it. So, but the lotto thing, like, I think it would be cool. Like, get away from the Pro Bowl and maybe do, the first and second pick play each other. Maybe
Yeah.
they can swap. Kind of cool. Or something along those lines. I don't know. But
Yeah. I mean, there's different ways you can do it, but I don't think a lotto is the solution. I don't like.
I personally just don't want to mess with it. Like, just leave it alone. It's
Right.
not broke. Don't fix it.
I think it's the best draft process in sports.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
honestly. So
Yeah. So, well, let's get on to the GTR. Oh, I threw this in here. Shout out to my beautiful wife. This is Sunday night. Monday is our 7th anniversary.
just a couple hours away.
Yeah, so I don't know what she's thinking.
Did you get her a gift yet, or you're gonna go there after this?
I am the gift.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm
That
giving
makes
her
sense.
the gift after this when we go to bed.
You are a gift to all of us.
So, no, we're kind of doing some stuff around the house, and I'll probably incorporate a gift into that, Mother's Day, birthday kind of thing, and buy a big thing for the house or something. We need a new water heater, so.
There you go. Happy anniversary. You can take a hot shower.
So I'm not sure. We don't really buy each other too many gifts, just little stuff, and Obviously being homeowners, we got to do it smart and get stuff. But we're going out to lunch with some friends. We're gonna grill out with you guys. Not that I can't think of any other way we'd rather spend it. The friend we're going to lunch with actually stood up with us in our wedding. So
Oh, cool.
That's kind of cool. A little bit of a full circle thing there. Of course, I haven't seen the kids in forever. A year and a half or so, maybe. I don't know, 2 years. So pretty excited about that. But the biggest thing is we just keep working as a team and getting things done in life and accomplishing things. So
Yeah.
But shout out to my wife Becca for 7 years married, almost 10 together, and
She's a saint.
saint to put up with me, that's for sure.
Yeah, there you go.
But actually, I guess the next subject I would hit on too. But weekends spent with best friends.
Yeah.
This kind of hit home with me a little bit. You can't pick your family, but you can pick your friends. I ended up being closer with them most of the time.
A lot of times.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is like when I find out like what am I gonna do this weekend, the first people that pop into my head are you and your wife, and your kids. Like, oh man, Luke's got a game. Let's go do this and that afterward. Or Bentley's doing this, or Bryson's doing that, and we can all incorporate it in. And I think it helps our kids get along really well.
I think so, and I think it's cool. This weekend especially, we actually spent quite a bit of time together, and it wasn't that we did anything crazy. We didn't go to Six Flags, we didn't have a big camping trip, anything like that, but just hanging out and even little stuff. Just it was nice. And a better weekend than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
Like you said, when we were going to grill out tonight, tomorrow, whatever. And originally it was supposed to rain, and that held out, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Went out for dinner last night, kind of cool, like you said, birthday party ended for your son yesterday, and everybody kind of starts straying and going away, and we just, hang out. We never feel like we're intruding or that you're intruding. We never feel like we're pressured to stay or pressured to go. It's just like, it's natural. It's no drama, it's stress-free.
And honestly, after the birthday party, we had some other friends in our circle that were there, and I expected this. I figured we'd end up ordering pizza.
Right.
No, I really did. And, hey, I gotta go get supper for the kid. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, no big deal, whatever. You guys were still there, and you're like, hey, Dirty Bird. And I'm like, yep, let's do it. And of course, we sat there and bullshit a little longer, and like, so, Dirty Bird.
Right.
And you get that.
We were trying to watch to see if the Cubs were going to come back.
That's true. We watched the game till the end, so, yeah.
The other cool thing is, like, what did we do, and I completely forgot about this, but what did we do after the Dirty Bird, which was, like, an awesome memory with our kids?
Oh, the lightning bugs.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that. But we got back to town, and it was kind of right at twilight, and we drove by the park, and they're just lightning bugs everywhere.
Right.
So, I call you, and I'm like, hey, dude, bring your kid out here. And the boys just ran around catching lightning bugs for like half hour, 40 minutes, something like that. But that was pretty cool, too. And it feels like this weekend with hanging out, the lightning bugs, the cookouts, our wives are sitting literally right outside the garage right now having a fire. It feels like summer's coming.
Right, yes. And that's the thing, like, so we got married on this day 7 years ago. It was like 102 degrees. I sweat so bad outside for pictures. And, my wife wanted an outdoor wedding. I wanted whatever was going to be best for the scenario. And the venue, got to make the decision.
Right.
Indoors. And I am thankful they did.
Thank God.
Like,
yeah.
That would have been brutal. Like, I remember the next day I took my tux back. My white had brown streaks from my sweat.
Oh,
I was sweating so bad. I was like, that's disgusting.
Right. Good thing you have to clean this.
Right? Like, here, I'd just throw this one away if I was you guys. But,
right.
No, it was awesome. Actually, maybe I'll send you a picture. You can throw it in here for the slideshow or for the podcast. I'll make sure it's appropriate.
Well, and, speaking of, feeling like summer, it almost is.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's like, it's...
Well, I think the first official day is like late June.
Right.
But
like, I think a lot of the area kids, they're out of school.
Oh, yeah.
And our
I
kids...
have to add it the next time.
Well, that's what I brought it up. our kids are out of school this week.
Yeah.
So
last week at school for the kids. I don't understand this whole. They have Monday off for Memorial Day. They have what? Wednesday, the last day in school.
yeah,
Is that right?
yeah.
So they go back Tuesday, Wednesday. What are we doing?
And the 2
I
days,
understand we have to do it for like the government and all that bullshit, but no kid's gonna be focused.
the 2 days that we are making up were crazy anyway. If you remember, two of those days we canceled for a snowstorm that never happened.
No, that never happened.
We
Yeah.
canceled the night before,
But,
before it even started snowing, and nothing ever happened. So
Right.
it's like that's almost even. And of course, you don't know, right? But
damned if you do, damned if you don't.
yeah, right, we live in rural Illinois. You're not going to have the buses get out in the morning on the icy roads. I get it, but it's almost more aggravating because it's like this shouldn't be happening.
Right. Yeah. That should be done Friday. Blah blah blah. And it sucks. It does.
Yeah,
But I think what's awesome for that is and my kid told me this last week. So they get out Wednesday. That's their final day. We have a game that got moved from Thursday to Wednesday this week.
yeah,
It's like, oh yeah, I get out of school and I get a baseball game and somebody's officially here. I'm like,
that is
Love
pretty
it.
cool.
love the sound of that, because
Yeah.
I don't remember ever starting baseball this early, because I always ran track or whatever. But no, it's starting early now. Some of these kids, when we were at a different travel team last year.
Mm-hmm.
I was playing a tournament at the end of April. It's like, man, so this whole, and I think that's kind of what we grew up with is, oh yes, so school's out. I got my first baseball game next week.
Right.
Life's good, so.
Yeah, I don't remember ever playing school baseball, obviously, but I don't remember ever playing travel ball or rec league ball during the school year.
No.
It was always a summer thing.
You might have a practice or two, or 3 or 4, or whatever, but
Right.
yeah, no, it's usually, school's out. I get to start playing the games now, like.
Well, and ours
Kind
is
of
kind
thing.
of the same way. I didn't think about it till you said it, but my daughter has a huge away game Wednesday night.
Huh.
It's the same thing. Get out of school, big game.
And you got a long drive.
And thank God. Thank God that we don't have school Thursday because I think we have like an hour and 20 minutes, something like that.
That's
drive.
to Toulon, Stark
Yeah.
County. It's quite a
Yeah.
drive. So
And
I've
that's our first game.
Yeah,
for
I've
the
had
girls.
basketball there before. I know how that. That's a
Yeah.
late night. So, and the thing is like, so your time limit is what, hour and a half?
Yeah.
So 6 o'clock, 7:30, or 9:30 by the time you get home.
Right.
And you got work the next day. You off?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
wow.
work the next day.
Yeah, that sucks. But the wife and the kid don't. So
Right. They'll be all right. They're sleeping.
that sleep in first day of summer, then we get to go. Well, let's keep it on to what were they thinking?
All right, so we saw, this is a big deal. It may not be a big deal for some of you guys, but a house in our town, and it's not a big house, it's not a rich house,
Nope.
it's not a big yard,
Nope.
has a robot mower that is mowing their yard unassisted.
Right.
And it's like been the talk of the town in different parts. Like everybody drives by and was like, oh, there it is. Look, it's doing it. And I remember when I did it, I think I sent a picture to you.
Yep.
And your
I didn't know what it
wife.
was.
And I was like, it looks like a robot vacuum
Yeah.
running around their yard.
Yep.
Yeah,
I remember I zoomed in on it and I'm like, it got blurry. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
And like, no, it's a robot lawnmower. I'm like, wait, what?
And it seems crazy. Like I looked this up today because I didn't know hardly anything about it. They're fucking expensive.
Are they?
For one thing, you can buy one. I think the cheapest is like $600, and it's only supposed to do like a quarter of an acre. And it's
wow.
got some bad reviews.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they're like $1,000 to $3,000. The $3,000 being able to do like just under an acre and a half, and all of them come with apps. So
Well,
like,
yeah.
all
Something
of
to
them,
program it to where it knows where to go. Yeah.
right? So it's not running into your neighbor's yard, or
Yeah.
starts and takes off down the street or anything.
Mow the ditch in the city.
Right. And some of the cheaper ones, you put up a fence, like the invisible fence you put up for a dog.
Yep.
You put it up, and when it gets close to the sensor, it turns around and it comes back the other way. But they're all of them that I looked up, even the cheap models, are self-leveling. So like if it's uphill, it goes and then it kind of levels itself so it doesn't scalp your grass. It's
Yeah.
just evenly cut all the way across.
Come back to a bunch of dirt spots everywhere.
Right.
Oh, shit. No. No, I think that's cool. And then again, I don't.
Right.
Like, I got a teenager who wants to mow yards now. Like,
Me, personally, I don't think I'll ever have one.
oh, I don't. I like mowing.
I like mowing, exactly.
You get that, well, the fresh smell of grass.
Right.
That's the best thing ever. 2, when I get crazy and decide to do my own patterns and lines, well, I don't know if you can design a robot to do it.
Probably not.
You know, maybe you can, and maybe it's better. But guess what? These are my lines, not a robot's. So.
Right.
And then 3, like, just the dopamine burst I get from redoing my yard.
Well, yeah, and you know, it looks nice. I don't think there's ever a time that I finish mowing and I go straight inside. Like, I'll finish mowing, I'll usually weed eat during or whatever, because my weed eater is electric, so like I'll do part of it, plug it into charge, mow, do the rest. But like, I'll go out, blow off the sidewalk, blow off the walkway for the mailman and stuff, and then just kind of sit there and I'm like, this yard looks nice.
I know what your wife needs to get you for Father's Day.
What's that?
You need a battery-powered weed eater.
Well, I've got, that's what I'm saying, it's battery powered.
Oh,
But,
okay.
So I'll
Doesn't
do
last
like,
that long, you mean?
right, it doesn't last
Gotcha.
that long. Because it's the same battery for like the weed eater and the leaf blower. So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, you just need more batteries then.
I need another battery.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what it boils down to. But plus, you know, your wife's looking out the window at how masculine you are mowing the yard. She's all turned on because the yard looks so nice. I know that's what she's thinking.
And she's like, mow me next.
Yeah. Get those jorts in here.
Yes.
But,
Take your grass stains off.
and I think, what does that do, like you said, for kids that are wanting to mow the lawn?
Right.
Now it takes it away. But the other thing is, like, what does it do to that old dad pressure where it's like, oh, you hear the neighbor mowing the yard and you're like, I have to mow in the next 24 hours, if not today.
Today, right.
Like, what do you, because they say these are quiet. So what do you do? Like, you look out the window and your neighbor's robot's going and you go in and you hit yours. Get out there.
Yeah.
Like,
So it's funny you bring this up. So the last 2 weeks I've mowed, my wife has taken pictures of me mowing with the neighbor mowing.
nice.
One across the street, one across the alley.
So,
I'm like, and I don't plan it that way. Like, I mowed yesterday because I wanted my yard to be nice for the birthday party. Or nicer, anyway, you know. It just so happened that we mowed at the same time.
one of my guilty pleasures is that me and my
You want to be the guy doing the peer pressure, don't you?
well, like one of my one of my neighbors don't mow weekly or even bi-weekly. Like, they really let it go. So I absolutely love when my yard is totally mowed and I see that line between his yard and mine when his is so tall and mine is so short, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. What now?
Well, now.
What now?
I don't know.
Then, you know, he trims his edge and he blows it all into
Blows it all over onto my side, yeah.
Like, oh,
And
really?
that's the other thing. The robot vacuum doesn't bag the grass. And ever since I've got a bag on my mower, I love it.
So I used to have one. I was just thinking today, I think I want to go back to that.
Yeah, it's cut down on bugs in my yard.
Yeah.
The yard looks better because it doesn't have the hay bales.
Right.
After I get done
you know,
mowing.
lately I've been bad about this, but blowing it into the street because my hills, it's a yard by the street. It's got a big old hill, and just stuff like that. No, I was like, oh man, I need to get mine fixed. You want a water line put into the garage and gas line put in electric, so I can get all that tilled up and leveled out and reseeded. Then I can get back to not what I need to do. But I know. What were we even on? Oh, the robot. Yeah.
Robot mowers.
So I couldn't remember what we're doing, but I don't know. I think this is going to become more of a thing, unfortunately.
And unfortunately, just like the robot vacuums, they're probably going to get more affordable.
Well, the thing is like, think about how busy we are.
Yeah.
And if I could just set something outside and it mows it.
There are times it can be nice.
Oh, I mean.
There's times that it seems like your only days off it rains.
Yeah.
You know?
Right, exactly.
And so, I mean.
So then you rush home and you're trying to mow at 8:30 at night.
Right. Or you go on vacation
Yep.
and you know at home that your little Roomba's going out and taking care of the lawn.
Yep.
But I don't know. I just think. And then, I mean, come on, man. Again, I grew up watching the Terminator movies. We don't need more damn robots in our house. Right?
You know, between robot lawnmowers and AI, Sarah Connor's getting pissed off.
Yeah. And I need another app on my phone like I need a fucking hole in that.
I know you can.
You know?
I think we got an app for there's an app for that. There's an app for that. so many.
Yeah.
And then people wonder why the battery don't last very long.
Right.
So much shit running in the background all the time.
Everything trying to sync and shit. So.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that'll do another episode.
Yeah. So last episode of May.
Crazy. It seems like we were just posting that stupid meme on TikTok with the NSYNC thing, like it's gonna be May.
Yeah, and then we did Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
I mean, we just started, and here we are, last episode of May, and
it's gonna be June.
Yep.
We're gonna be on vacation here soon.
Yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait. So a new episode will drop Wednesday, between the hours of 6 a.m. and midnight.
It'll be Wednesday. It may be Wednesday at fucking Tokyo time.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it'll be Wednesday.
So you wait in a couple of days. So
right, I do what I can. I really like to have it done Tuesday and ready to post, but shit happens.
shout out to Kyle. He is our IT team. He does all that stuff for us, the editing, the all the cool gadgets and all that stuff you see on the TikTok videos.
The headache.
I don't know what the hell I bring to this team other than the good looks, I guess.
The charisma, the good looks.
So I try to put together the podcast and what we talk about because he does so much other stuff.
He does. He does build a really nice agenda
so,
we have every week, so we know what we're talking about.
But together, I think we're making a pretty good team and having fun with this.
We're killing it.
I do feel like we're getting a lot better. I watch every episode just to see what we can work on, what we need to do.
I will say I went back, and for those of you that follow us, you would have seen this. I made a hype video for last week's video.
You did. Yep.
And it had clips from the first 12 episodes.
Right.
So I had to I went back and I watched several of these episodes. And I kind of clicked through them or whatever.
Right.
But I watched all of these episodes to some degree. And it has gotten better.
Yeah.
Like, somewhere around the time that I think when it really started to change is when we had our wives as guest stars the first time, and we really started to build off of that. The first couple of episodes, it's like shy, quiet, awkward, bumbling through stuff, and I think we kind of found our stride here.
Yeah, we definitely have. I think another thing is we've really gotten into flowing well.
Yeah.
Before, we put an episode together and maybe do some minimal research. It helps that we have a lot in common.
Yeah.
That makes it easy. We haven't really gone against each other too much on a lot of things, and that helps out. I think some stuff we put on there, we pick a different side just for conversation purposes.
Right.
What you have to do. But, no, I like it. I like where we're going. Look forward for the future.
And I think, again, we said it last week, but the last couple of weeks we've pretty much only posted clips and some humor. But, it's not like the first couple of weeks where we're just trying to do anything to grab your attention. Yep. Like, we're actually doing stuff that's true to us, clips from the podcast, and we're still growing every week.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. We were trying so hard to do a bunch of different stuff, and I remember looking at Kyle and be like, we got to be true to ourselves. We got to do what we want, and it's either going to work or it's not,
Right.
We do have some cool things coming out here in the next couple of weeks on what we're going to do with the podcast. So be tuned into that. I think we got some cool things.
I'm excited about what the summer brings us.
Yes, so definitely some big plans. Who knows? Some guests, some different locations.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Maybe
some. You'll get there. We don't want to ruin the surprise. So, available on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, everywhere you find a podcast. You can listen to our voices. If you don't want to see our face, fuck you, but we're there. And that's it. Till next time.
Garage time.